The Sri Lankan economy has really made some significant progress since its meltdown in 2022. GDP has grown over the last 3 quarters after contracting by double digits at the height of the crisis. Now, the key inflation rate has also settled at around 1.7% on year. This is after peaking at an eye-watering 70% 2 years ago. But the scars are deep and the road to recovery is long. The World Bank estimates that poverty has doubled since 2021, with a quarter of the entire population living below the poverty line. The cost of living remains high, with prices of basic food products such as rice, eggs, and sugar at twice their levels before the economic crisis. So let's continue this conversation now with Minister Sabry. Minister, Sri Lanka has also reached a debt agreement or a bond restructuring with its creditors. So what are your economic goals now as you meet with foreign players?
So the important thing is for us now that we have got the restructuring done to a great extent, the local debt restructuring bilateral as well as the bondholders. Then we have almost regained the debt sustainability. So we'll probably have access to the international market on concessionary loans, which are very necessary for us to kickstart the economy back on track. And what we are doing with the most of our friends and bilaterally is looking forward to receive more investment into the country in various sectors. You are very, very correct, because what happened in the past that we had a terrible economic crisis. We have managed to avert a further crisis on that. We have got it back and stability there, but growth had not taken place. So right now our focus is to get back to growth so that we improve the living standard and also the income and the salaries of our people. So that's the current challenge right now. In order to win that challenge, we need more investment coming in, particularly to the economy in various sectors.
Yeah, so as you move into this phase of, I guess, looking for growth from stability, we have to also keep in mind that China holds much of your debt. What role does China play now in Sri Lanka's financing and in this search for growth?
Yeah, in fact, actually, China only, we own China is only about probably about 8 billion out of a 33 billion external credit to them. So China also had been equally basically agreeing into everything that we have put forward as a common restructuring plan, along with the bilateral creditors, OCC, Overseas Creditor Committee, which was headed by Japan, India, and France. So they have been supporting us all throughout. So all in all, Chinese investment are also important for Sri Lanka, because investment and infusion in investment is necessary for us to get the growth back on track.
Yeah, and Sri Lanka, of course, still this IMF program, and you talked about how there are unpopular moves such as tax hike and spending cuts. How can Sri Lanka ensure that growth is sustainable and inclusive, that it is not hurting the poor more than others?
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge right now. What we have is the only way is to do that is to fight corruption, improve efficiency in the services, fight the digital divide, and put a lot of money into areas where we can sustain the economy, such as renewable energy, port development, making Sri Lanka as a maritime and a air traffic hub. So things are happening, but it won't turn around overnight. But as you saw on your own graph, Sri Lanka had done remarkably well from about double-digit recession to get 5.3% of increment right now. If you look at tourists are coming back, the Sri Lankan rupee has strengthened about 20% from its peak to 20-25%. And also our reserves have come up. And for the first time after 6 years, we have a primary account balance. So all the indicators are in the right place. But I do agree with you, the prices which escalated, we have tackled the inflation, but prices which have escalated during the height of our inflation in 2022 mid-part had not come down. So proportionately, the income of the people have not risen up to that. So our challenge is, rather than trying to bring the prices down, increase the income and the salaries of our people as we go forward. Probably that's our target for the next 6 to 18 months. But in the meantime, there was also a very important point that we have been pointing out, that some of the people who are vulnerable had further affected. That's why we are rolling out a social protection net. We have introduced something called Asvasuma, where we directly cash transfer to the people who are below the poverty line, which is about 2 million families. And we have, in fact, tripled the amount that we are used to pay prior to the economic crisis, taking into the consideration of price escalation of the essential. So idea is right now to protect the most vulnerable, spur the growth, and have it sustainable over a period of time so that economy will be back on track, never to fall into a situation that we faced 2 years ago.